Well, I've spent the last 24 years of my professional life handling medical malpractice cases, and specifically as time has gone on, and probably within the last 13 to 15 years, really specializing in pediatric malpractice cases and birth injury cases. I take a tremendous amount of pride in handling these cases because they're not just about the malpractice and the professional challenge of proving a medical malpractice case. The victim of malpractice is someone who typically can't speak for themselves, couldn't fight for themselves, can't do anything. And oftentimes when I get cases involving birth injury or pediatric malpractice, the child doesn't even know that they were the victim of medical malpractice because maybe the damage is just starting to manifest themselves, but based upon the science and the medicine involved, we know that it's going to progress into, unfortunately, a catastrophic injury that they're going to have to live with for the rest of their lives. So I take a personal gratification and interest, and it's my life's work to do pediatric malpractice cases. I have some of close friends today started off as clients in pediatric malpractice cases because when I take a case, I don't handle many of these cases at any one time. I take a personal interest and dedicate all of my time and resources to the cases that I handle. So the relationship that's developed with parents who have a child who has been catastrophically injured, it's not just about explaining to them departure from accepted standards of medical care or causation or the nuts and bolts, if you will, of how to handle a medical malpractice case. It's navigating them through the very difficult process of living with a child that they know has been catastrophically injured and that they're going to have to care for the rest of that child's life. And the scary part to parents in coming to me, particularly initially until they get comfortable, it's what do I do when I can't care for my child any further? At some point in time, I'm going to grow old. Who's going to take care of my child? So when we represent pediatric patients, we're not just representing the here and now to get an award of money for that child so that the parents can pay for their schooling, and they may have an IEP, and they may have to go to a special school, and all those things, and those are all very real costs in dealing with a child who's been catastrophically injured as a result of malpractice. But the more difficult challenge oftentimes in a parent's mind is, who's going to care for my child when I'm no longer able to care for them? And that is the very difficult question in a conversation I have with them and explain to them, this case is going to be about providing a source, a fund of money to care for your child now, but it's also going to be about caring for them when you can't do so. So all of the entire case, forgetting the proofs and the nuts and bolts of the case itself, all of that is very important, and we get to that in ultimately performing a very thorough investigation and developing an evidence-based theory of the case that will be successful. It's about holding the parent's hand through a very difficult process and really comforting them to know that the reason why we're moving forward this case is not just about the here and now, but the future of their child.